Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today, it's the first time that we're going to be talking about Bofuri. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. And we watched the first 4 episodes, the long title, probably winning the award for the longest title we've done so far. But we're going to talk about our episodes watch through of 1 through 4. And if you did watch them with us, thank you so much for watching. We have so many more anime to go because we've done a lot of anime in season 1, now building up a library in season 2, and we still have all these that were recommended by me or Matt or by somebody from the community. And the way that you can get an anime on this list to be picked out of the chest is to submit a $5 super chat on YouTube and 500 bits on Twitch. So one or the other. If you're watching on YouTube, a $5 super chat, and you can put your anime in there, or 500 bits on Twitch. So we have a ton to go. This is the ranking so far. A lot of S and A tiers that we've seen, and but by the end, we're going to put Bofuri somewhere on this list. But I don't go on this anime journey alone. I go with my co-host, Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
I am doing good. Fighting off like a summer cold, summer head cold. There's something going around that's just like in my head right now. But I'm here. I'm ready to talk about Bofuri. What a what a bucket of chuckles this has been for me so far, man. Oh my goodness. It makes me giggle and laugh, and I'm just having a silly fun time with this show.
Yeah, I'm mad and I hate this anime because I re-downloaded Final Fantasy 14 because I was watching this anime and I was like, man, that was the
critically
fun times.
acclaimed MMORPG.
Yeah, and it's free to play right now. You can get 4 days for free if you'd like to jump in right now. Final Fantasy 14 short plug. Yeah, go over there and do that. No affiliate codes needed. But shout out to everybody watching in the live chat. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hello, Kaylin. That's what I gotta say right off the top. But I agree with you. It's a chuckle of laughs. It's really silly. It's really fun. We'll get into it, I suppose. But it's really cool. I dig it so far. I'm into it. I'm along for the ride.
It knows exactly what it wants to be, and it's not trying to be anything more than that. At times it might leave something to be desired in certain departments where they're grazing over things. But again, it's like it's doing things to its own pace. It's marching to the beat of its own drum, so to speak. And I think it's all the better for it.
I'm glad it's not typical. Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, it is typical isekai get sucked into a video game, but it's not Sword Art Online where they're stuck and they have to fight and die.
It's not full isekai situation, die and get reincarnated into another world. These are high school students that are going home to play video games at the end of the day, and the video games they happen to be playing are we're supposed to suspend our disbelief in the situation of a full dive VR type situation. So something like Sword Art Online, but without everything going horribly wrong.
Without everybody dying.
Trapped.
Yeah, for sure.
Without the real world consequences, basically. Yeah. But then we also see the very archaic systems that the game utilizes for player progression and, the show itself and the idea of New World Online. The game is called NWO. Those are 2 completely different, I feel like, conversations. But I am mostly here to discuss this as the show and not talking about the game that is also coinciding in it.
For sure.
As a gamer, capital G, there are many things where I'm just
yeah, sure. The
moments, but it's for the sake of the story.
The logo of New World Online looks definitely like Final Fantasy 14, which is really funny. Which I was like, oh, that looks great.
And then the fact that we've actually gotten an IRL MMO called A New World, was one delivered to us by Amazon. That, came out and is still around, but
it's here,
not very much present. Just around.
Yeah, it's there. Dan says there's some hand waving, but it's not so much that I'm like, wait, how does this work? whenever they're like, yeah, I will get into it. We'll get into it for sure. I definitely want to discuss all that stuff because it is a bulk of what we're going to be talking about how the world's built and about the characters that we meet and what this person is going through in this new world that they're in. So Bofuri, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. Episode 1. What happens in episode 1? Defense and first battle.
Kaede is convinced by her friend Risa to get a new full dive VR MMO game. In character creation, she names herself Maple, then choosing to wield a great shield and putting all of her starting stat points into vitality because she doesn't want to get hurt. Upon arriving in Gridania, Kaede asks veteran players for tips, quickly gaining new skills and having her defense be constantly buffed up passively by taking no damage from attacks. Logging off for the night, Kaede returns the next day, eager to look for cooler gear, but she discovers that she doesn't possess the gold to make it happen. So she sets off for the lair of the poison dragon, using potions to buffer her health while she gains poison immunity. She eats the dragon to death, gaining a set of gear specifically for soloing a dragon.
Soloing a dragon and it being your first encounter is what it basically said. Oh, here's this random thing where if it's your first encounter and you're soloing a dragon by yourself and you do end up defeating it, here's this armor that's really good and it's very unique. So we start off with the introduction of Kaede and Risa, who is her friend that got her into the game, and this is your little comments on every picture that you send me is really funny because it says me when Jules stopped playing Final Fantasy 14, and I was
Arms
like,
crossed.
this is very true because now I got you hooked, and then I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I don't want to play with you.
Around with my multi-person mounts by myself.
I'm sorry. Okay, first we got to talk about the intro of the anime. This is the first time we're watching it. It was a very cute intro. I gotta say, I did want to skip it a couple times. I was just like, I'm okay with it. It's not super memorable as a song.
Cookie cutter, I guess.
Cookie cutter. I mean, you get the different characters we're gonna meet, and like, oh, that person looks cool. The first time I watched
colors and stuff are
colors,
very
animations,
bright. Yes,
looks beautiful.
Yes,
I do commend them on it being very beautiful.
But it was nothing that caught me like I was very pleased when it opened. I was like, all right, like that was pretty nice, but there have definitely been other anime openings and closings where it's just like even Sarazan Mai, the closing from Sarazan Mai was just like caught me off guard with how good it was. But nothing really notable with this one.
Song was okay.
Song was okay.
Mm-hmm. Cosmo says, I'm here for more duck eating butts. No, not in this anime. We're talking about Bofuri.
Here for what? I don't remember.
I don't remember that.
Breakfast, man.
So we get that basic, not basic. Well, I guess it is basic, right? I mean, this is just playing a game, VR. Yeah. Here we are.
It's very just straight to the point.
And that's fine. Yeah. I'm okay with it. I mean, they set up a premise really well where it's like, hey, this is VR, here we are, and we're gonna go into this game. We get a character that's like, I don't know much, I don't know what I'm doing here, and we get Maple creating their character and putting everything in defense, which is very funny when you look at her.
Because I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah,
she said, like, there's Leo points several times in the first episode where she justifies
I'm gonna
her actions
my defense
because I don't want to get hurt. She says the words.
She has no agility, so she can't run very fast, which is also very funny. And she has starter gear. She meets Frederica, Drag, and Pain is there. They're in a group. She's fighting this little bunny. All of it is very silly and very fun. The way that she levels up so fast, and then like all the text on the screen.
This box is what drives the narrative.
Total defense having the skill
50% of the time.
Yeah, this little box of like a skill that she gained just because, and because she has such a high defense and high vitality, it gets multiplied. Like I really like that they do that little scene where she's like, wait, 200 and something times 2 is this much. And I'm like, okay, cool, great. Because those little screens are moving way too fast. I'm like, there's too much text here. I'm not going to pause it. We're good. So I like the way that they set it up, and it is what it says. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. Do you know where Bofuri comes from?
I don't actually.
I looked it up, and the translation from Japanese of I don't want to hurt, so I want to maximize my defenses or something. Some of those words equal bow and fury. So they kind of just put that in the front so that for American audiences, it's easier to remember. So you don't have to. So it's like bow fury. And it comes from what it means in Japanese. And then some of the kanji put together make bow fury. So that's what I found
an
out.
Acronym of sorts.
Yeah, kind of. She kills the bunny. She can't defend poison. So what about this mechanic where you get introduced? Is there a mechanic like that somewhere in the game where you just get introduced to it so much and get hurt by it that you gain the defense for it? Is that normal? Because I was like, I don't think that's normal.
I put my head to the grindstone on like what other type of games I could relate that power system, the leveling system to.
Yeah.
And I mean, if anybody else has any closer like approximations, please bring them up. But for me, it's like it just reminds me of Skyrim, where it's just like in Skyrim, whatever you're using, like ambiently, your proficiencies kind of go up with it.
I mean,
but even in there, it's like you still have to like put skill points into the actual like perks that.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm confused. Why, like, I agree with you. Where if you're using a weapon, your proficiency goes up in the weapon, but not on something that hurts you, so that you gain resistance to it. It's usually like a potion that does that, or usually like a bit of armor has that perk to it. But I've never heard. That's why I was like, what is this?
Not a video game, but you could also like, in Hunter x Hunter, you have Killua, who has an immunity to poison because his family subjected him to small, like increasing amounts of doses of it over time.
I mean, yes, but
it's like in a video game term,
because this is a video game still. Like, it's not pretending to be a real world. They're actively going to a video game. I've never seen that, but like, I'm fine with that, them setting that up, I guess. But the more that you think about it, like, so just higher levels people will just have immunity to like everything pretty much. If they just play enough or play long enough, they'll gain immunity to most things just by. Okay. I don't know, because
I mean, like, it's so like by the end of the first episode here, we get her fighting the poison dragon by herself, and she's just like taking potion after potion to slowly build up immunity to it. So it definitely begs the question: is it like the amount of times you take damage for something? Is it the amount, like the amount of damage that you take? Is it the volume of the attack itself? Like, because if the potency of the attack, so to speak, because if the poison dragon's like breathing and that's like the highest potency of poison you could get, it's helping her increase her stats faster. Like, that's the only part that really kind of throws the ball in the air and says, like,
I mean,
decide.
All of this doesn't really need to happen. Like, all of this conversation doesn't need to happen, but I know you, Matt, would enjoy talking, or like I enjoy trying to figure it out. And like see what it is. All of this is irrelevant to the story because they just put that there. They're like, hey, here's the thing, and this is how it's gonna go. So we're like, okay, cool. Dan says, I think it depends on what you gain immunity to early level. I don't think the immunity comes up again later with anything. That's true. I mean, well, does she take? She doesn't really take damage.
Bomb eater eventually.
Oh, she eats the bomb. Yeah. So in this one, so she can't defend the point against poison. She falls asleep. She's there getting attacked by these animals here, getting poison and stuff. And then she wakes up to level 8, and then she kills the bee. And is that what she eats? The bee?
She doesn't eat the bee in this episode. In this episode, it's the bee just kind of like shoots her with venom. And she realizes that she gets poisoned, and it shoots her again while she's like trying to run away, but she can't run. So like that's another thing where like she initially put herself in a situation where when most people might have that tactical retreat and actually be able to retreat, she's just like slowly marching away and getting hit over and over again.
And I think that's the funniest thing. I love these little quirks about Maple so far in episode 1. Already, like right off the bat, I'm just like, this is cute. This is so cute. Just going into a world, starter armor, doesn't really know what's going on, and she just has this high defense, and then you see her come around to be like, I could take you on, like just little sword, just I got you, I can do this,
Yeah,
whatever.
like the whole idea where she's like, "Oh no, I'm so hurt. You're gonna kill me,"
Yeah,
and then she's like, "Gotcha!" Like,
yeah. It
so
was so
we see
funny.
her like be able to use like intuition and her own like cleverness to just kind of like outsmart the game, to be honest.
Yeah.
And while everybody's out there, playing the game, putting the numbers and their
Matt and
stat
Jules over
points and
here
stuff,
grinding dungeons.
while you have Lisa getting into the game, min talking about her min max and everything. Maple's
Mhm.
just over here. I'm gonna put all my points into defense,
Yeah.
and she ends up, very early on having to have the developers put out a quick Maple fix, so to speak, as we
Yeah,
see
we'll,
later.
we'll
So
talk about.
it's just like everything that the show sets up and then pays off with. It's funny, it's silly, it's having a good time doing it, and I'm after all the recent anime we've been watching, especially, I'm here for this
Yeah, we meet
completely.
Kuramu, who is the great shielder, and him giving her half. I think this was the moment as well that made me be like, man, I want to play Final Fantasy 14. Whenever Kuramu is like, yo, you're new, oh, that's dope, here's half of my potions, and he was just being so nice, and I'm like, dang, bro, that's
For a
kind of how the
fellow
final,
great shield
for
user.
a fellow great bro, if you can. Oh, when we're in a goddamn raid and there's another black mage in there, we're homies, dude. We're homies to the end. We'll stay in each other's ley lines. Why not? It's so fun. So like seeing that be just like, yo, you got your great sword user. Here's my stuff, man. Here you go. Whatever. You're great. Awesome. Keep
And
going.
then you have these interludes of these like chat logs where you
Mhm.
could see like a guild or something, and I'm pretty sure it's the first three that we see there. I know that those three are
Frederica,
on there
Drag,
too.
and Pain.
Those three are definitely alluded to be in the group chat, but they all, what's the word, in there you see them like saying things like, oh yeah, Maple, that the newbie great shield user, yeah, she's got max level social skills. And they're like saying that because like I just think that's a very small allusion to like in a lot of MMOs, people will just log on and not talk to other people. They just
Yeah.
go about their business. They're doing their
Mhm.
thing, they're questing, and that's totally fine. But then you have the more niche
Hi.
scenarios where you have people that are just walking up to random
Hey.
people like, "Hey, can you help me out?" They're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh
What are you
shit."
doing? I was in
They're
like
just
10
talking to me.
menus. Yeah.
Like, nobody just
um,
talks to me.
Yeah, for sure. So that moment for sure was like, man, I want to play Final Fantasy 14. And then I played today and everybody was so nice. And I was like, "Oh, this is such an amazing game." She gained an immunity poison. We talked about it. She ate the dragon, which was kind of wild. Which is
Munch.
pretty funny. Bites the dragon, takes him down, gets the cool armor, and then off she goes into the world. As a first episode, how do you think it stands up on a first episode as far as this? Like, are you liking it? You're like, oh, this is cool. Is this enough to get you to keep going?
I think as a first episode, it's like sets up the rules of the game loosely enough for me to like at least be like, this is funny. It's like it's not taking itself
It was
seriously,
funny.
and it's playing into those like more the tropey kind of MMO beats that you normally get, and kind of turning it on its head with using a character that has no knowledge of like this is their first video game, and they get told that over and over again by like their best friend and stuff.
Mhm.
So it sets up an interesting situation with a fun premise that I can be sold on for sure.
Yeah.
If I just watch this first episode and I know there's 12, I'm finishing this one thinking I'm gonna just watch everything. I'm about to binge it.
It was fun enough. Maple's really silly. I love the situations. The whole Mr. Bunny playing with the bunny for an hour, which is insane. Just having them attack her. But like it gave me enough about the whole like getting loot thing. Enough nostalgia, I guess, for MMOs to be like, okay, cool. I want to follow her on her journey and see where she goes and see what all this stuff is. And it sets up pretty cool monster so far because we see a dragon and we're like, oh my god, this is pretty cool. That's crazy. So episode 1, really good.
And that too,
I
like
really
it
enjoyed
doesn't like when it comes time for the monsters and the action, like, obviously there are shows that are doing it better, but I was impressed with what we do get. I didn't think we would be getting like epic fight scenes. I thought it would
Sure.
be a bunch of like the little challenges where, the thing just bonks right off her head like we're about to see
Mhm.
and stuff like that. I thought it was going to be a bunch of slapstick situations mostly, and nothing that was going to be like actually tonally, oh, we're fighting the big bads. But we
And
do
these
get some of
episodes
that.
really do it, and it's pretty
Mhm.
cool. Episode 2, defense and friends. What happens in episode 2?
We see Maple gaining new skills and acquiring upgrades left and right before IRL. She mentions to Risa that the first in-game event is about to take place. Since the winners gain limited edition gear, she is very psyched up for it. Dropping into a battle royale, we see Maple use her high defense to hold a single position while she is rushed by wave after wave of would-be aggressors who would fall to her devour ability, if not her Hydra attack, taking third place in the competition. Risa is ready to log on, and with a whole build already in mind, naming herself Sally and showcasing her min-maxing in playing off of Maple's defense, also becoming her mount during travel sequences. Sally rounds up seashells that Maple needs for a new shield, also enhancing her skills over time, eventually taking on a boss solo, just as Maple did, acquiring her own special set of armor.
She looks so cute.
We got the squad coming together.
Squad initiated. So there's a battle royale tournament. She wipes the floor with them by just being there, and then she becomes in third place, which is really funny. I liked the sort of mechanics they had there. The introduction of this tournament thing and it being like a limited time event. It's the first in the game, the first event. I was like, okay, cool. I'm excited about this. Like, it had me excited for them to be like, oh, cool. What's the event? You know what I mean? Kind of the same thing. Um, and it didn't overly explain what's going on. Like, it's not just a bunch of information. There's information for you there in the little text boxes, but it doesn't go crazy. And it, even if it
It's
does,
digestible, but it keeps the ball going.
yeah, for sure. Especially when they're like, okay, it's down to the wire, and everybody in the top 10, I think, has this little blip that everybody on the map knows where you're at. So then it heightened it and it made it understandable. I think it's top 10, or is it top 3 or
I
something?
think it was just the top 3 that it showed on the map.
And then you get
And
these.
she was number 3.
Yeah. So everybody was coming at her. Really cool display of skills. Really liked it. She used her Hydra power that she just got, which looks insane. I gotta say, Christmas Rose was the very first character that got knocked out. It was pretty funny. I liked Christmas Rose the best. She got third place. Risa decides to be a swashbuckler, and we get sort of this. I didn't expect them to do like a little montage in episode 2, but
It makes sense when you think about it.
yeah, it does.
Where it's like you want to just get her up to speed with Maple, but you wanted Maple to be able to kind of have their own journey alone for a little bit.
Yeah. Because they go on this swimming, fishing montage for hours in their time where they're just swimming, getting up their levels and stuff. Oh, they also said as well that player skills in real life affect your in-game skills. So I think that might come into play sometime later.
Could.
Which is a very interesting tidbit there that she's like,
could
oh,
be
I'm good
why
at swimming.
That one guy's gotten to the second level while nobody else has.
Maybe he's an assassin.
Maybe, yeah, IRL, he's something.
He's part of the mob. But like, when you break it down again, how does that make sense? How does that in game? Okay, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't. It really doesn't matter. But like, the more you think about it, I'm like, how does that? You're good at swimming, so you can do this in your VR better than other people, so you
Full
swim
dive
better in game.
VR, full dive VR.
Full dive VR. Okay. Um, this started to get more into that slice of life thing, and I can say for me, in these 4 episodes total, it was on the edge of too much slice of life for me. Very close to being like, okay, let's come on. But I get it. I mean, it makes sense, and I like that they're having fun doing it. So
That's definitely where I say sometimes I feel like it leaves something to be desired when it's just kind of like grazing over things with like a montage sequence, or like we're jumping from like situation to situation, and it's kind of like they're just like they kind of loosely connect it with dialogue, but you sometimes lose that sense of place. But also they're in a VR MMO, so like how much of a sense of place do you really need
yeah, because
in this environment?
you walk 30 meters in one direction and it's sand, and then you go to the next direction and it's like ice and stuff. So it's like they can do
Exactly.
whatever,
They could
really.
literally say to the east is the forest, to the north is the desert, the west the mountains, the south the sea, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know, because the city is just the hub,
in the
and they
middle.
just kind of, yeah, exactly. But
Sally
yeah.
fights this underwater monster for themselves. I really, man, the fight scenes are really good. So like that's what I'm saying, where it kind of teeters on this slice of life thing, because they give us this montage, and I'm just like, okay, cool. I like that they're smiling. I like that the characters are having fun. It makes sense because this is what's needed, because Sally hasn't leveled up at all. And I'm like on the fence. And then they give us like some epic fight scene, and I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like, you would think that I don't know why I thought about this, but I didn't think they would give us as much in a fight scene as some other shows. But I'm like,
Mhm.
yo, this fight scene's extensive. And I'm like, yo, they're going at it and they're giving it time. And I really like that.
You did oh, excuse me. You do get a few little awkward moments in the fight scene with the undersea monster, where like I don't know why they did this. They chose to do some of Sally in uh like CG, but most of the
Okay.
time she's hand drawn.
Mhm.
And when she's hand drawn, even juxtaposed against the CG monster, it looks great. It looks awesome. And I
Yeah.
think that more shows should take more liberty with that. But the few moments where she was fully rendered in CG, it was just like weird. Um just kind of weird looking, and I wonder why they
Okay.
decided to go with that.
I don't
But
think I noticed that.
it was just like one moment or two, like one shot where she's jumping backwards away from the thing. It just caught me off guard, and it definitely reminded me of, I think it was a Black Summoner, the scene in there in like the throne room against the Black Knight,
Yeah.
where like you get that really cool like scene potential, but then the CG just like makes it super awkward. And I
Yeah.
feel like if Black Summoner were to take a note from this show and like have I'm forgetting his name, but the main character still be 2D hand drawn in that fight sequence against the CG Black Knight, I think it would look great, because there are certain, I just feel like there's a certain uncanniness that certain things can be presented in anime in CG, and it kind of helps sell the otherworldliness. And
Yeah.
for me in this show, it's these boss monsters, is they're like not all of them get rendered in CG. There's I
CG.
think next episode there's one that's hand drawn, but or the next one after that. But yeah, it's a very interesting decision to see, where I haven't seen that happen very often in other
Mhm.
times, where you get the best of both worlds, I guess.
Looks really good.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. So, Dan, other Dan says, the fights keep that energy, if not get even better through the entire show. Well, I'm happy to hear that, because I really like that part. I really like when they get rewarded, or we get rewarded by seeing what the character can do now, because we didn't know what Sally can really do, and this is the first time that we're seeing her abilities. Even though she's underwater, she does have some really cool abilities that we see, and she shows it off a little bit. And I'm like, yo, this is really cool. So Sally wins, defeats a boss solo, and she got that gamer lean on. She was like super tired after it, and she was like, yo, this I didn't think I needed to do this, but I was alone, so I had to be serious for a little bit. Now I'm tired and I'm sweaty and all that stuff, so
Had to
it
pull
was
out the
really funny.
stops.
Yeah.
Me after playing Beat Saber for an hour. It's like, bro,
They go
somebody had to
on.
do it.
These beats aren't gonna saber themselves. They go on to the second level, and that's where we leave off of episode 2. So what happens in episode 3? Defense and reaching second level.
Due to the performance of Maple during the event, several of her abilities are nerfed. Maple is recognized by other high-level players who give her and Sally a tip on a nearby quest and the new event. They find a skill scroll for their efforts in completing the quest, Sally going on to defeat another monster basically solo. Maple acquires a new shield just in time for everyone to gather for the next event, seeing Mai, the leader of the Flame Emperors, before the rules of the next event are explained.
Me? I think it was spelled me.
It's 2 eyes.
Like we, but me
Me.
maybe? I don't know. Bro, they nerfed her to the ground. They literally I was laughing so hard because of like, bro, they opened the episode to patch notes here already in week 1.
Bro,
Like,
literally.
what kind of devs? Like, shout
Me
out
in
to
the
the devs.
Helldivers Discord every day. Like, where's the patch, bro?
Oh my god. That's funny that they did that like within such a short amount of time. They instantly saw it. They're like, oh no, wait, that wasn't supposed to happen. They're like, let's nerf that. So Devour, it's kind of a big deal in the episode where Devour only can happen 10 times
10
within a
times,
day.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's palatable. Like, I
Yeah.
like how palatable they are making these MMO things that
Yeah.
that to me and you probably are like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Whatever. Let's go on. Patch notes here. This stuff got nerfed and all. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But if somebody doesn't know anything about it or doesn't play video games at all, I even think they would enjoy it. Somebody that just see the little characters. I mean, I'm pretty sure people that just want to watch a good anime, they're like, okay, cool, this is really cute, and they're having a good time. So I really think that the slice of life elements are for those viewers that are like,
this is
here's
also
fun
an
stuff.
anime, I think, where watching it, because I've been watching it subbed. I'm sure you've been watching it subbed. I feel like this is an anime watching dubbed might be a move, because again, it's like one of those cases I feel like potentially where as long as you have the voice actors that are up to the task, you can get that the comedic timing that might be translated better with the English voice acting if you're a native English speaker. Kind of like how we watched Kaguya-sama in English as well.
I might switch it to English just because there is some comedic timing, and when I read it, it's funny. But like, I'm sure there's like a moment where it could be a little bit funnier in the reaction and in the way that the person says it.
Yeah, and I like but top back into the episode, I like the moment where like they talk about the nerf and they're like, dang, like they also nerfed like defense stats, they added armor piercing, like all these things, and she's like, I can take damage now, and then she's like, yeah, but think about how cool you're gonna feel when you can't take damage and you still beat everybody.
Yeah,
and she has like a little power fantasy, and her
it's
little
so
like
funny.
Like,
I love Maple. Maple's a great character. One of my top 10 for sure so far in the season of anime that we watched as a main character. There are some characters where I'm like, yes, I'm here for you. I'm down for your adventure, and Maple's one of them because she's just so silly, and I love it. I love that she's doing whatever she wants, and she's playing the game that she wants, and I can't be mad at her playing the game in the way that she feels is best for her.
And even Risa says that too, where once Maple's like, yeah, everything I'm doing is overpowered, so now all you need to do is the same thing, and she's like, like you do your thing, I do my thing.
Yeah, definitely. Dan says, I've watched it both ways and I prefer dub personally for this show. Okay. Well,
See?
I definitely want to check it out. And Claire says she's late. They're late. Claire, you're
That's
late.
okay.
You need to get a tardy slip from the principal. Um, so the big thing, she now takes damage. She got nerfed to the ground. And then we get another montage, a little shopping montage. Again, it's like on the border where I'm like, okay, another one. We just had one last episode, but I know it's for the people that don't want to see. Like, they're giving me best of everything right now because I know it has to happen, and it's not too long to where I'm like, okay, bro, they've been chopping this whole episode. It's just enough to where, like, once they get to the fight, they give equal amounts to montage and fight. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Cool. We're here. It's not all one and not all one. It's giving
Yes.
equal parts, at
It's
least in my head.
spreading that butter evenly.
I'm pretty sure Jules has been putting all his points into facial hair. Yeah, I mean it's going pretty well. I like it for sure. I'll put some points in that. And also my height, I'm like 6'2", so I got to make my character put that slider up a little bit. Dread and Drag meet them in the food place, and I mean, it is kind of like an MMO thing where they're like, "Oh, you don't know who I am? I was number 2 in the event or something." Like, oh, cool. But they don't remember them at all. They're like, who are you? You look kind of familiar. I was number 5, actually. Hello, you don't know me. So it is kind of a funny game. You don't exist in my mind, bro. But then also, I don't know why. I just got to keep bringing it up just because it's interesting. The whole idea of the VR MMO, they're eating food.
Trust me, dude. I'm thinking about it the whole time. It's the suspension of disbelief that like they're not fully isekai'd, but the show wants me to take it that they're like in full dive where they have full sensation of sight, smell, sound, taste, presence of being. Like it's a lot, but like I just keep shrugging my shoulders.
Sure.
Like, sure.
What I'm referencing is
it's such an advanced helmet that it synapses into their neural links.
It goes into their brain
or whatever, dude. Like I don't care. Whatever they need to say about the helmet that makes it make sense. I'm just happy that everybody's having a good time. Like
I'm just happy they're having fun. What I'm referencing is, if you don't remember, if you didn't watch it, they are at this little place they wanted to try out to eat, and they're in the video game and they're trying out the seasonal food and they're eating it and they're tasting it and they're like, tastes really good. And they even make them Sally even makes a reference like, this tastes really good. And they're like, all the taste, 0 calories or something like that. This is almost as good. This is better than real people.
Screenshot of it, but during the montage later in the episode, they're in that like celestial room with all the stars and stuff. And like,
was it in this episode?
It was this episode, right? It was right before they pick up her shield. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
right after and before the event.
And they're in this celestial.
Like wine gets poured for them, and a bunch of like ethereal orbs drop down on their plates, and they're like, "This tastes like apples and oranges and cherries all at the same time."
Yeah, and I'm just like, how? Do they have to put something in their mouth?
Why would we even live in reality anymore?
Yeah. Like, yeah, why would you even go back? I would just say, fuck it. I'm going to put all my hours into this game. I could do literally everything and grind and fight monsters and have a little pet. Why would I go back to the real world? I don't know. It's just really funny that it is that suspension of disbelief, like you're saying. It's just like, fuck it, bro. Whatever. They're having a good time. Who cares? I don't know how they're eating. I don't know how they're tasting that stuff. They go on to the North Forest quest at night. Very odd quest, because he was either Dread or Drag was saying this one's a hard one. You should probably go there for the super speed skill.
He said that this one is probably going to be very difficult for girls like you.
Yes. And
they're like, we wonder what he means by that. And then they get there and they've realized that it's like a haunted forest. And then she's all scared of ghosts.
For sure. And that makes sense to what he was saying, I guess, in the misogynistic way. But like
Yeah.
the actual quest was to heal a guy that was stuck underneath the cabin so that he can leave and ascend. Like, how would that? Did he know what the quest was? Or I don't know. And what even was the quest? Whatever, man. They have super speed now. So another point in this episode where I was like, what was the quest? Just to help out a guy and have them ascend into being a ghost and to pass
Because the
on?
guy was in a random cabin that they found
Yeah,
under the floorboards that they coincidentally heard him spring
heard.
from.
And then he drops super speed. How does that connect? They're having fun.
They're having fun.
They're having fun. Fuck it. We got the Devour nerf. We see this fight scene, which looked so good. The animation looks great. So here's my conspiracy theory. I think we've already seen it twice. And I think by the 4th episode, we see it again with the fight with Articuno or whatever. With the big bird. I think because every single time Sally has to take it into her hands and be like, fuck it, man. For some reason, Maple just keeps on not being there till the end. And I'm going to take it on. I think my little theory is that Sally, and I want this to happen, probably not going to happen. I want Sally to just be like, fucking Maple, I hate this. You're holding me back from the game I want to play. I want to be this great character. I want to fucking kill all the characters and kill PK everybody. And I'm leaving. And I'm going to be better than you. I'm going to be. So that's kind of like my little theory that I think may not, most likely will not. It's not probably not going to happen. But again, Sally takes on a boss.
Did you see the way they held hands when their pets hatched?
Yeah.
They are not getting in a single argument.
Dan says that he also uses super speed later, so he found it somehow. Oh, so he does end up doing the quest. So we don't know if he did it before or after, but he does have super speed at some point. Okay. So
also,
that's my theory.
Like they're having fun, they're having a good time, but the whole dinner scene and the whole like, oh my god, your eyes are different. Oh my god, your hair's different. Is it gonna change? Just like, it's just, I don't know. For some reason, I was feeling some tension in that scene between the two of them.
Okay, with them talking about the cosmetic changes,
with them like, just like the vibe that it was setting up of like their bond, their shared bond, and
okay,
we're gonna tackle this new thing, and they're doing it over like wine and dinner. I don't know.
Oh,
it was
okay.
It was just set up like very ethereal and very romantic.
The way the wine.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So she's gonna either hate her or fall in love with her. Those are our two.
And then also in the last episode, when they said they wanted to check out a new tavern, and they like walk into the place, and you see like a couple sitting in a booth. It was just not even a couple, but it was a guy and a girl, and they like gasp at the two of them walking in. I thought they were walking into like a couple's like a couple's bakery or something, and they were going to be taken as like a couple by accident, and that was going to be a gag, and I was ready for that. But then I was just like, oh, Maple's just famous.
Yeah, Maple's famous now because she was on the TV for everybody, and she said something dumb. She's ready to pound it or something. What did she say? I don't remember. She was like, I'm ready to pound it. Ready to get pounded or something.
I took a pounding, and I liked it.
And I liked it. Yeah, I really took in this game. I really took a pounding, and I liked it. And then she was like, oh, and everybody's like, what the fuck? What did she say? We got to get going. A couple's bakery. What kind of bakeries has Jules?
I've watched too many other isekais, all right? Because don't tell me that's not something you see in isekais.
That's true. In a harem anime.
Anyways.
We meet my part of the Flame Emperors, which is most likely a guild of some kind. She gets a new shield. We find out that it's been 1 month of time, like actual out of game time. So episode 4, defense and second event. What happens in episode 4?
We follow Maple and Sally through the event as they navigate a secret dungeon. Maple showing off their new movement style and boasting about their defensive capabilities. Seeing familiar faces heading into a dungeon that's made for one party at a time, Maple and Sally are left bewildered as in moments the gate reopens. They proceed with caution and have to use everything at their disposal in order to defeat the boss, Silverwing, who is apparently designed to TPK anybody that attempts to defeat it. They are rewarded with monster eggs that go on to hatch into a turtle and a fox, noting that the turtle has a higher AGI than Maple. Traveling through a desert and approaching an oasis, a new challenger approaches them to claim their medals.
Woo! What is this low res Maple here? What is that?
Oh, there's Maple waving at the bottom of the cavern after she just face planted in there. And then Sally's looking through and Maple's just like, hi.
Most of the animation looks great. This is just a blip in what's going on. So Maple gets a new ability, which is really funny and just speaks to like the out of the box way of her thinking, because she's using this cover move to get to Sally, and as Sally is super fast with super speed, she can just keep using cover move to catch up. And I thought that was the greatest thing. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool.
I was dying.
I love that. Yeah. Dan says you don't see the low res Maple under the floor. You don't see it. You don't see it. Don't look. Do not look. Do not perceive this low res Maple. Everything's great. Everything looks good in this anime. Using the super speed to catch up. I thought this was so good. This was such a cool thing. This blew my mind. Really. I was just like, what she's doing. I was like, oh, I'd be one of the game devs like, oh fuck, I didn't think about that.
Why didn't you not a GCD?
Yeah, make that put a cooldown, put a cooldown, put a cooldown, put a timer or something.
Maple having to make them drop balance patch after balance patch.
Yeah, next week that's gonna get patched out for sure. Scrub that out 5 times a day.
Oh my god.
They go into the formidable ice dungeon. They meet the group of friends and they say that she owes. See, again, there's that tension that I think is there, but I'm implementing it in because Sally's like, you sure you want to let them go first? Are you sure? Because this could be a one-time thing. And then Maple's like, no, I owe him because he gave me half of his potions and they can go first. And then she was like, whatever Maple says. And she smiles. And it's like, is there tension? I mean, it's all me. It's definitely self-inflicted here. But I want Sally to be, I don't want her to be more mean, but like it could be a thing. I don't know. That's my thing.
You just want some chisme.
Yeah, I just want something. I just want a little ooh, what's happening? Or she does it through gritted teeth, like whatever Maple says.
If the show takes a turn down that route, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it'd be bad, but it's just like with the tone everything has set up so far, I just don't feel like any major twists or turns are coming. I feel like the show's kind of like set its pace. It knows its bits, and it's going to do as many things with its bits as it can.
Yeah, for sure. Just because I've seen like multiple moments where Sally could be mad at what's going on, but because she is such a quote unquote expert gamer, as we see all her medals and trophies and all that she could be that type of gamer where she just gets mad and like, fuck, what, you're holding me back, Maple. And that could be a possible story point. Most likely won't, but Devour gets devoured by this Articuno thing. 1 HP, she got saved. So she has this new skill where if you're 1 HP, something, new skill, whatever.
Like one time a day, you can take a hit that would normally kill you, but you'll stay at 1 HP.
Yeah, for sure. Claire says, how many medals, trophies do you two have? I have a lot of medals.
Gaming?
From when I was in
gaming
high school, but yeah, no gaming medals, unfortunately. I won a pack of Titanfall cards from a Titanfall tournament. That's my gaming prestige.
I have a lot of track and field medals.
Trophies, that boy got super speed skill.
But if we're talking like gamer score, if we're talking Steam achievements,
Matt has the highest Steam game count or Steam points count. I know, so. Yes, Matt has the award
crazy
most games. Silverware was a silverware. Why did it auto corrected? What was it?
Silverwing.
Silverwing Yeah, my autocorrect corrected to silverware. Great, love that. This is very disappointing. I think you have to return your gaming license.
Oh,
Oh
my bad,
no!
officer. Here you go.
Oh no! Uh, I just got that new one.
Just got some
Silverwing.
dude.
Silverwing was supposed to be impossible to beat, and I think there's this other thing. I really like this little part here because it shows like, okay, first off, the game masters are in the game
Yeah.
as these little characters, and they're hanging out, and they're literally watching Maple to see what's going on. And they know Maple because most likely, now we know, most likely that patch was for her. So now we know that the devs are watching her intently, and they're like, yo, this boss was not supposed to be beaten, and she figured out a way to do it. These two, what's going on? And I like that. I like that little drop, that little thread, and we got to see these game masters. And I'm like, oh, what's gonna
That's
happen?
the spice.
Yeah,
that's the cheese, man.
That's. I wanted something, and it was that. So I'm okay with Sally not turning on Maple if we get more of game masters. Like, what's going on?
I like the idea that like it could pull something kind of like how Sarazan minded, where like right now we just got a glimpse, but over the course until episode 12, like more and more of that story begins to integrate and bleed into the actual
main story.
The actual main story.
Yes, I'm cool with that. So she's game breaking because she's thinking of things outside the box, and I love it. Because she also does this thing when she's going down the mountain, she jumps into her poison ball, but she's invulnerable to poison, so she uses it as movement. And I'm like, oh, my brain, Maple, you're so great. I
thought she was gonna, because that's after we see her do the whole cover move thing. So I thought she was just gonna cover move down there, but then it's just like, oh, and then she's like, but then also you get Sally seeing the message where she's like, look out below. And I thought she was just straight up like just body dropping with her shield like down in front of her.
Because you would think that she wouldn't be able to take fall damage because she has enough armor or something, or like you said, the shield.
Like she just starts dropping from heights to build fall damage resistance.
Oh, true. Fall damage resistance. But I really like Maple and the way that they're portraying her as this, playing this game how she sees it and not how a gamer would see it, quote unquote, where it's like, this is only used for this, but she's breaking the game a little bit. Sally gets super hyped for PvP. So I'm assuming at some point she's going to want to do that. And we get the introduction of Syrup and Oboro, which are the cutest because together they make maple syrup, and it's so cute. I loved it. Love these two little pets. And the introduction
being faster than Maple.
Syrup being faster than Maple is so good. It's so funny.
And then we see them have a Pokemon fight.
Pretty much. Yeah, because they can put them into their rings, right? Yeah. I was like, what is this, Pokemon?
Like what Syrup, Bite, Ouroboros, Flametail.
It's great. They're having a good time. They're having a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun watching them have fun. And then we meet the person that was, don't you remember? I was in 6th place. No, who the fuck?
Whomst?
Who are you? No, we don't remember. We don't look through the leaderboard. I was just looking to see where I was.
Bro, I saw you for half a frame in the opening.
Yeah. I don't even remember you. I'm having a good time with this anime. How are you feeling? Let's talk about episode 1 through 3. If you watched episode 1 through 3, how would you feel? Would you keep going? And would this be an anime for you? Because usually when people watch anime, they say the rule, watch the first 3 episodes. And if you still don't like it, get out. It's over. But 1 through 3, how would you feel? And would you continue after that?
No, like I said, like even by the end of the first episode, it would have made me laugh enough times to sell me on the fact that like I should just watch it through for the goofs and the gaffs, man. That's what I'm here for at this point. The goofs and the gaffs. I know it's probably not going to deliver a stunning, life-changing tale that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. But if it's something entertaining and on it, and like, again, this is an isekai that up to this point has had nothing like that's been very like grating or straight out offensive. No. Unlike Black Summoner, where like it just had light, themes of slavery and and stuff like that. So
Something light.
well, I mean, it had it lightly touched on those things,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah.
in a way that just came across as grating. Not that that subject matter is light, but
Yeah.
in this show, it's like it just is just here to have fun. It knows that, and it's not trying to um, do anything crazy outlandish. It has a bit. The character is not a gamer and wants to never take damage, and it's just running with that bit, and it's just funny to see how like everything that she does is just constantly in the thread of I don't want to take damage. I
Mhm.
don't want to take damage, and it's just entertaining to see how it's able to keep pulling that off and
Do
like
do they
moving the story forward with it.
sure. Do they feel pain as well? Do you
I
think?
mean, it acts like it. They do
Yeah.
like when she does the cover move the last few times, and it keeps knocking her
She's like,
away, and and you have Sally
ah.
go Maple, and Maple's like,
Yeah.
I'm okay. And it's just
Yeah.
like, what are the stakes here?
So
What are
you
the
get,
stakes?
yeah, you can taste otherworld food. You can have otherworld smells, but you also get the pain from whatever it is. I take it. I
Full
live there.
dive,
I
full
live in there
dive.
for sure. Dan says Mabel didn't even know who the first and second place people were. Yeah, you're not going to tell me how are you going to make me remember who was in sixth, bro? I don't even remember first and second, the people that beat me.
But how
Um,
about for you? After the third episode, would you feel like you would keep watching this?
I think I would. Especially in episode 2 and 3, I'm just like another montage, another shopping thing. I'm like, okay, we're good. But it did live up to the other end, like I was saying earlier, where there is these epic fight scenes. The animation looks really good, really pretty colors, really cute characters. And if I would have stopped, I wouldn't have seen Syrup and Oboro. So definitely.
Exactly. If anything, I have that.
Yeah. So I definitely would have tried it. I mean, I like yeah, I like it. I really like it. I'm interested to see where it goes. Do you have any quick thoughts on what we haven't seen this before? We've only watched episode 1 through 4. What do you think could be leading the show leading to at the end of season 1? What is the big bad, or what is the thing that's gonna push them to the limit?
Maple's gonna have her own guild hall.
Okay.
She's gonna lead her, like how we saw me leading the Crimson Knights, or what was it? The Crimson something.
Flame Emperors.
Flame Emperors. We're gonna see Maple like probably stumble into accidentally just like having a bunch of people that are just like
Okay.
pledge their fealty to Maple,
Okay.
the
And
devourer of,
and
light
now
or something like
she
that. I don't know. It's like her armor set like makes her look like an intimidating dark knight.
yeah.
Like she's not, but then she gets like the white shield that she named Snow White, and then I'm just like, is she gonna
What
get a white armor set too? Like,
yeah.
just what that kind of clashes. I mean, it's a cool
Yeah.
shield, but it just clashes with her armor. So I mean, that's where I think that's where like the ultimate for me payoff would be seeing her like just have a guild of people pledging their fealty to her. How
And
about
then
you?
now
What would be
she has like followers. Now she's a religious cult leader because she has all these people that look up to her. I don't know. I kind of possibly on the other end, not so slice of life ish. Maybe the devs go super hard on her and they put all of these things in her way to try and stop her, and she just doesn't get stopped, and she has to fight these monsters and things, and they try to make her gaming experience really bad because she's making their game development really bad because they have to keep changing things because of the way that she's playing. So
I think I like that better.
I kind of like them, fighting each other and them playing the way she playing the way that she wants, but then the game devs changing it so much to just focus on her because she's breaking the game for some reason, and that's because
And
she's
it's
never
like a
played a game.
constant indirect fight that's happening
Yeah,
between the
I
two of
think it
them.
it might be too dark, but That's my prediction that I think.
No,
it
I
might
think
do
that'd be
that.
I don't like. I think they could do that with still making it be like cheeky and funny.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they necessarily need to take it in a dark
Mhm.
direction. Not saying that I don't see them like kind of twisting it and then turning it like we've seen other shows do. But I also think they could play that off with comedy.
And then the devs get so mad that they make people have to stage act in forever. And then if you die in the game, you die in real life. Matt, we talked about Bofuri, but when you're not maxing out your defense, where can they find you on the internet?
You could find me on my YouTube at Matt_Galley. You could also find me going live on my Twitch one last time at
What?
Matt_Galley on Friday morning.
Whoa.
Friday
One
morning,
last
last Twitch
time.
stream. And
One
you
more.
can follow me on my other social media at an ITS at the front for Twitter and Instagram. When we're not here, not wanting to take damage, where can the people find you?
At Jules the Human, at JULES the Human on all social media. I am streaming on YouTube. So if you're like, where did this guy go? Is he dead? No, I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/Jules the Human. You can find all my videos, all my lives. I just went live with Genshin Impact yesterday. Going to be playing Borderlands 2 on Friday. Probably playing Final Fantasy 14 at some point. Back into that because of this anime. But yeah, you can find this podcast as well on that channel, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman. There's a whole playlist of all the stuff we've already done. And you can find this podcast on Spotify. Just look up the Jules and Matt Anime Hour as you see it right here. And you'll be able to see that and watch the anime or the anime show, anime podcast on Spotify if you like. But that's the end. And next week, we're going to be watching 5 through 8. So if you'd like to watch along and give us your thoughts, Bofuri 5 through 8, episodes 5, 7, what? 5,
5, 6,
6,
7, 8.
7, 8. Just skip 6. Just skip episode 6. 5,
We don't
6,
talk about
7.
6.
Watch episodes 5 through 8 by next week and give us your thoughts if you want to join in on the conversation. And that's the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.